Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I'm seeing several cases floating throughout our country. And I've done several videos on individuals who are married, whether young or old, and decide that their marriage is not working out and they need some kind of dissolution or resolution to their commitment to marriage. And instead of the traditional way of just getting divorced, I'm seeing a very big uptick in individuals trying to take out their spouse, meaning trying to kill them and get away with it. And it doesn't make a difference, young, old, black, white, it doesn't matter. And I did a previous story on a Minnesota Mayo Clinic doctor who was married to a pharmacist. He allegedly poisoned his wife and is in a ton of trouble. I did a video on a judge, an ex-judge and state senator in Ohio, who was a black man, judge who had gotten divorced from his wife and had a couple of children, and he decided to stab his ex-wife over 40 times in front of his two children. The most appropriate resolution to a separation or dissolution of a marriage is to get divorced, not to kill or try to get rid of your spouse in the most heinous and diabolical way possible, leading to death. And it doesn't make a difference, as I said, white, black, rich or poor. These decisions to just take out their spouse in such an inhumane way, and the measuring stick for life and death is so minuscule that we can't tell the difference. Conflict mediation and resolution are at a premium, especially in the dissolution of marriages, and people should be able to understand consciously and positively just walk away and do something else. Well, I got one out of Coral Gables, Florida, where FBI alleges real estate developer Sergio Pino hired crews to kill his wife not once, but twice, and two failed attempts, luckily, and then ultimately he took his own life and committed suicide over their divorce. So here we go. Before he shot himself in the bedroom of his waterfront Coral Gables mansion, prominent South Florida builder and developer Sergio Pino was about to be arrested for soliciting multiple attempts by several individuals to murder his wife before their contentious and lucrative divorce became final, according to federal law enforcement officials. 9 people are now in custody in connection with what the FBI agent in charge called 2 murder crews. Not one, 2. Mr. Pino tried to hire 2 separate crews to kill his wife. Pino hired in order to carry out the murder of his wife, Tatiana, who filed for divorce in April 2022. He decided he was going to kill his wife, said U.S. Attorney Marquez Lapointe at a news conference Wednesday, citing an attempted poisoning with fentanyl, stalking, and a botched attempt to injure her with a rented flatbed truck as she drove home from a divorce court hearing in August 2023. So a gentleman under video surveillance, home video surveillance, you see a flatbed truck run into the side of Miss Tatiana's car as she's entering her home. That was a failed attempt. He also tried to poison her with fentanyl. That was a failed attempt. But it was in June 2024 when hitmen who were allegedly to be paid $300,000 followed Tatiana home, where one of them got out of his vehicle armed with a firearm and chased the car she was driving, but was unsuccessful because Tatiana made it into her home, Lapointe said. Then one of Pino's adult daughters came out of the house, and the would-be shooter pointed the gun at her head, the daughter's head, but decided not to kill her because she was not the job, LaPointe said. The incident was captured on surveillance video, according to the criminal complaint. 4 members of what law enforcement called the first crew were arrested in March and have been indicted in a stalking conspiracy that included the torching of 3 cars. They torched 3 cars outside the home of Tatiana's sister, as well as their alleged role in the hit-and-run truck attack. So they tried to run over Tatiana in her car with a flatbed truck, and then they commenced to harassing her sister by burning up 3 of her cars. This is the first crew. The FBI said it determined Mr. Sergio Pino's liaison to that crew was Bayron Bennett, who Tatiana recognized as having worked on the family yacht called Century Star as a food and beverage handler, according to court documents. The second crew of individuals of 4 that attempted to kill Mr. Pino's wife, Tatiana, included the armed gunman from June 2024, was led by Fausto Villar, a convicted felon who LaPointe said had done work for Pino as a roofer. So this gentleman tried to hire 2 separate crews. Both were associated for working for him, whether it was on his yacht or at his house. So the husband and wife had some connection and both knew some of these people or had seen them before. LaPointe said it was to be paid $150,000 for the murder and another $150,000 if Pino was not connected to the crime. Some money was transferred, but authorities were not specific about the amounts, senders, or receipts. According to the criminal complaint against Villar, law enforcement learned Villar provided a deadline of June 24, 2024 to kill Tatiana to ensure that she could not make it to the next divorce proceedings between her and Pino. All 9 men are in custody, and those who have had court appearances have pleaded not guilty. So Mr. Pino got 9 individuals involved in trying to kill his wife instead of just getting a divorce. Pino's criminal attorney, Sam Rabin, says he believes Pino could have successfully defended the charges. Pino's attorney, Deanna Schifrin, has previously denied all allegations against him, writing in a statement on Tuesday, there is nothing to indicate that he ever harmed or wanted to harm his wife, adding the combination of unnecessarily destructive divorce litigation along with selective and salacious media coverage was humiliating to him and led to his tragedy, or this tragedy. So it was a double tragedy. Him trying 2 separate attempts, 2 crews to kill his wife, and then he decides to go ahead and commit suicide and kill himself. Sergio Pino, a prominent and wealthy developer in South Florida, was found dead by suicide inside his home amid an FBI investigation into criminal allegations in his bitter divorce battle with his wife of, guess what, 32 years. So he decided he made, instead of divorce mediation and resolution, conflict resolution and mediation, and moving on, wealthy, has all the amenities and things in life that you could have, had been married for 32 years, the mother of his children. Instead of getting a divorce, separating your items, we should not be slave to things. She deserves whatever wealth was built in those 32 years as a foundational support. Instead of just handing those things over and moving on with your life like any rational man would do, he decides the best way to do it is to take his wife out. And it got so egregious and so ridiculous that he hired 2 separate crews that involved a totality of 9 people. How are you going to get 9 people to keep that a secret? All of them, thankfully, debacled the situation and scenario to get rid of Miss Tatiana, his wife. She survived. They had multiple failed attempts, and he was willing to pay a six-figure bounty on his wife's head, and even harassed her family and burned up her sister's cars. Mental illness is real. He evidently is having some kind of mental breakdown. Stress and anxiety is real, and how we manage those things. We are not stuck with one person or that person forever. And on Tatiana's side, on the woman's side, we have to think, man, just when you think you've been with somebody for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, grew up with them, they could even be your own family member, brother, sister, mother, father. Sometimes we just never know who we think we know. There is a little bit of stranger in everyone. And there is always the potential of not only a little bit of stranger in folks, but there could be a little bit of danger. And as I say, the length of time does not determine how well you know somebody, but it's the shared experiences and really understanding, utilizing your five senses to really pinpoint, is this person in my corner? Does this person, he or she, really love me? And I say it all the time, love is an action, it's a verb. You have to display it and show it, not just say it. You have to display it and show it, and not just say it. And evidently this was a situation that ended up not being true love, because how could you have the kind of hatred in your soul to where you would want to kill your 32-year marriage of your spouse and the mother of your children? Money and things are that important to an individual. Where are we headed in this world? And the Bible says never to worship deities or symbols or buildings. And in today's time, in social media, that seems like that is the navigation point that many people are going towards. Chasing the bag by any means necessary, maintaining and keeping the bag by any means necessary, whether it filters over into criminality or not. Those are not the measuring sticks of a successful life, a successful person. Your inner parts are just as important as your outer parts. What substance do you have integrally, spiritually, philosophically as a human being, and maintaining your humanity, love, and peace for mankind? If this man is willing to kill his own wife and the mother of his children, what do you think and how do you think he would treat anybody else in a business relationship or anything else? This is a measuring stick of his personality. By any means necessary, he wants to win no matter what. Very unfortunate situation, even if it crosses the line of negativity or criminality. And we're seeing tons of this. A young lady in Utah who allegedly poisoned and killed her husband, even wrote a children's book about it, and now she's been indicted and brought up on charges of killing her husband. There are way too many cases of these married couples, instead of just having a dissolution of the marriage and moving on and separating your things, you can get more things. Many people are snapping and are deciding to take out their spouse, the mother, father of their children, and it makes absolutely no sense. Let's manifest our truth in the right direction. Tell me what you think of this story out of Coral Gables, Florida, of this wealthy real estate developer who tried to kill his wife on 2 occasions unsuccessfully, but he did successfully kill himself and commit suicide. Tell me what you think.